Hello friends! Welcome back again to another video. My name is Sas. I am an international medical graduate from the Philippines, currently a licensed and practicing physician here in the United Kingdom. So this video is basically all about how to prepare for the first PLAB exam. If you are interested to know more about it, please do stick around. So assuming you're done with your English exam and you're now eligible to book for your first PLAB exam in the GMC website. Or if you've already booked for it, then good for you. You're one step closer to taking the exam. Allow me to share some of my tips on how I prepared for this exam, and hopefully it will help you pass like me in just your first attempt. Before you start with your studying, my first tip is definitely to gather your study materials. The first thing you have to do is go to the GMC website and download the PLAB 1 blueprint. So this blueprint will contain all of the subjects or the topics that you need to cover. And just have a scan of this blueprint and go join some social media groups on PLAB 1 preparation, and definitely you will see some of the other tips as well as some other files or notes that were uploaded by those who took the exam before you or currently taking the exam as well. Next would be to choose a question bank. There are several question banks online, and one of the most famous, the one that I chose, was PLABable. Now, PLABable is a subscription that you can also use or do in your phone, and I use that personally while even at my work, while I didn't see some of my patients in my downtime. And it's very useful for you to prepare quickly and just scan and read through the questions and even the choices. And it will also be helpful for you to refer to the good old Oxford Handbook of Medicine, as it is one of the pillars of practice here in the UK. Another good source would be the NICE CKS guideline website. You can use some other websites like patient.info or even UpToDate, depends on the topic, because sometimes they're not really accurate for the UK practice. So just choose wisely, and depends on how it's going to be in the blueprint. Again, use the PLAB blueprint as the mother of all of the topics that you need to cover. Second tip is to create a study timeline. You have to make an Excel sheet listing down all the topics or the subjects that you need to study using the reference of your blueprint or that of the question bank. Beside that, you have to set a target date when you want to finish each topic, and definitely list several dates after for your review or revision. It is important that you read the rationale per choice, why that choice is not the correct answer, and definitely mark those questions that you want to go back to in the future when you do your second or third revision. The next tip would be to do your mock exams. As much as you can, it is best to do a lot of mock exams because it's going to help you prepare for your actual exam in terms of the time constraints, and also to help prepare your nerves because you're in an actual setting of the exam. You can time yourself 180 minutes, 1 minute per question, and definitely just simulate the actual exam. It's important also to make sure that you only use one question bank. Just make things simple and revise that question bank as much as you can, because it's difficult to juggle different sources all at the same time, and it will be difficult to revise. It will also be important to familiarize with yourself with what they call Clinchers. So these Clinchers are helpful in terms of recalling common clinical scenarios, something like pneumonia or acute coronary syndrome or chronic kidney disease, or any topic in medicine. So basically, even pharmacology topics, even epidemiology topics, they have some Clinchers for that in PLABable gyms. So you can also subscribe for that alongside your actual question bank. My next tip would be to allot at least 2 weeks or 3 weeks just focusing on mock exams. I personally did 12 to 13 mock exams, and I think that's enough for you to have a taste or have a feel of the actual exam. And of course, it would be important to review each mock exam thoroughly for you to know what the reasons behind the wrong choices, why it's the correct answer, and etc. etc. It's also important to take breaks in between your entire duration of studying. If personally I chose to not study for one day of the week, or maybe on my off days, I'll just not study, or maybe just allot 2 hours for that rest day because I needed some time off of the studying. And it is important to also spend time with your family while you're doing this, to, of course, and as well as your friends, to seek for support. Another tip is, if you're going to take this exam in a different country or a different setting, it's important to travel at least 3 days or even a week before the actual testing day, because it is going to be difficult to acclimatize if you arrive just a day before your exam. Go to that location, the venue itself, at least 2 days or a day before your exam, to familiarize yourself on how to get there so that you won't be late, and definitely on the actual feel, or just be able to know what to expect when you're already there for the exam itself. It's also important to find a sample answer sheet or a shading sheet that you can use for your review or revision, because it's going to be relatively big. The boxes that you need to shade are relatively bigger than the ones that you are familiar with. So in my case, back in medical school, the boxes in our answer sheets were smaller than the ones in the PLAB 1 exam. So it would take you longer time to shade just for one question. So make sure to do that, because I didn't do that before my exam. So I was quite surprised when I was there. And last but not least, get enough sleep the night before, or if you're going to travel to a different time zone, at least acclimatize yourself and try to get enough rest before the actual exam to calm the nerves. And if you are religious like me, make sure to pray, because it's going to help you a lot in your actual preparation and also during the exam. So definitely find some solace and to seek comfort while answering some of the hard questions. You might be surprised because the questions are very long and the time is very limited. You only have 1 minute per question, and usually some questions are very long. It will consume one entire bond paper, and they have some tracing of ECGs or x-rays that they have there that you need to analyze or interpret. So those are some of my tips for how to prepare and hopefully pass your first PLAB exam in one attempt. If you have some questions, comments, or anything, just some information that you need, just let me know, and keep in touch with me through my social media platforms, or just leave a comment below and I will try my best to get back to you. Until then, I will see you in my next video. Bye!